Hello, everyone. My name is Jenny Birak, and I'm an astrologer and an energy healer. I work with the energy of Archangel Metatron, who is the rainbow bridge, the frequency, the vibration that holds all of the rays within his energy. That is like the connection grid, is what he's saying, and those the higher vibrations come to us through his energy. So I'm working on this video today. I'm doing it with Archangel Michael, who has been, he's saying my sidekick for a couple of weeks now. I keep forgetting to mention about the Mary Magdalene video. I know everyone couldn't see them because I tried to show someone after I'd seen it the first time. I never watched. Well, it's unusual that I watch the videos on my TV, and I was watching it. Well, actually, there were friends of my daughters were here, and they were watching it on the TV, and I wasn't really paying attention. And they were like, "What are those? Those things are stuck in my head." They kept seeing the sprites, the 3 orb sprites of orange that were flashing on the screen at particular times in the video. And so I thought that was pretty cool. And I had a nice little ceremony and upgrades and healing with them after I made that video. I just love working with Mary Magdalene, and a lot of the work that I'm going to be doing moving forward will be with the Divine Feminine. That's one of the contracts that I have on the planet, along with Jesus, and getting into more teachings of the Bible, trying to disentangle them from what the government under King James wanted people to believe that was the correct version of what God was saying. Because remember, in those days that the kings were the voice of God. And so there were a lot of changes made to the scriptures, and a lot of just extricating. He's talking about just took them out. So that's part of my work on the planet. And yeah, I wanted to thank everybody for all of your well wishes about what was been going on with my digestion. So the moon in my chart, the moon is 6 houses from this South Node Pluto Saturn that we have happening. And the 6th house, the Virgo house, rules the digestive system. The moon is how we digest things. And so a lot of people with moon there are, honestly, I'm not going to try to name all of the ways that you can see food sensitivities or intolerances with the moon, because there are so many, and the moon isn't exclusively the moon, but I do have things that point, that show just having a moon in Cancer, which mine is in the 4th house. So it's ruled by Cancer. But I think I have an answer, and I'm very happy. I believe it's something going on in my small intestine, and so I'm really happy. I was just like, okay, I don't know what to do, because literally everything that I eat, I was sick. And then a friend saw something came through her news feed, and the doctor who was speaking was literally saying in the video what I had just said to her. And so, yeah, she hooked me up with him. So anyway, that's all taken care of. And I really appreciate all of your advice and your well wishes. And I appreciate and the emails that were sent to me. I appreciate that. I haven't had a chance to get back to you. I know I'm behind on emails. I had an email from someone in Pennsylvania describing the energies that he's been feeling with the storms as they pass through there. Definitely you are feeling those energies in the storms, and you can always send the frequencies of light into the storms. You're free to do that. You're powerful enough to do that. You're a spark of God. So you can just ask the frequency of pure unconditional love to be sent through the storms. And that doesn't just mean storms happening outside your window. That can be storms on the other side of the earth. So I wanted to mention all of that. And also, my classes will be ready mid-May, because my son is graduating from college. So I know I have that week off, and I will definitely have time to go through the 7 hours of teachings and edit them. I'd like to add a little bit to that as well. And then they will be on sale on Vimeo. And that will also be when my Patreon channel goes up as well. I said that I'm doing that because I'm sharing personal things. I don't go into like the comments that are, but it's just an annoyance more than anything. That's what they're saying. Because I don't do the second chance thing. If you say something rude to me the first time on my channel, then I just delete you. There are plenty of other spiritual teachers and healers that, you can find wisdom. Not you, but people can find wisdom from. I just won't have that on my page. So, that will be a way to alleviate the problem. I do have a lot of way far out there. I had one of my students said to me, I don't know if you are into aliens. And I'm thinking, like, how does somebody not know? But I think that I'm really careful what I share on YouTube. So I would like to be able to share more personal history, skeletons in the closet, things like that I don't want to put out on YouTube. I'm going to get that going in the middle of May. So we are talking today about the new moon in Taurus. And Taurus, this is happening on May 4th and at 11:45 in London, so 5:45 Central Standard Time in the United States, and you could just adjust for your time zone. So it's 11:45. We have a 4 and a 5. So we have some sort of like an upheaval and change energy. Remember that new moons are when we plant the seed. We expect the things to come to fruition. With the cycles of the moon, I would have to look up when the full moon in Taurus is next year, but also then the year after, when something is seeded. The new moons are when the moon and the sun come together, which is why you can't see the moon, and we plant a seed. Okay, a seed is planted deep in the earth, in the dark of the earth. That's why the moon is not shining. And then we wait for that seed to grow. This is very interesting. Again, we have sort of the, fresh start, ending of a cycle in the same moon event, which is just, it's been going on for so many months now. It's interesting to me. Now, Taurus and all things Taurasian or Venetian, I should say, are about slow growth, okay? Taurus rules sensuality. It rules pleasure. It rules physical pleasures, all of the senses. So smelling a rose, tasting good food, drinking a nice wine. Those are all Taurasian, okay? And Taurus we see the constellation or the sign of Taurus as Gaia as well, okay? It rules livestock. And it is the bull, but it's the bull more in the way that the bull isn't going to move. The bull is stubborn. It's not the charging. The charging is the ram, the Aries, the fire of Mars. But Taurus is more like, I'll get to it when I get to it. And people with a lot of Taurus, Scorpio is more known for procrastination, but they're on the axis. And Taurus is more just like, I'm not going to do that if that's what you are telling me to do. I'm going to do it when I'm good and ready. Because Taurus, I used to always date Taurus because my son's in Scorpio and I would always attract in Taurus. And they actually are more stubborn than Scorpio. I can attest to that. And they like to take their time. And, Pluto in the opposite sign of Scorpio is the seed. It goes into Taurus, into the earth. And Taurus is the blooming and when things come to life. And we eat the fruit of the earth. That's Taurus as well. So it's interesting to me that Venus, who is the ruler of Taurus and ruling this new moon, Venus is in Aries. And she is exactly at the same degree with the asteroid Heimdall. And Heimdall, again, is the asteroid that means the guard of the bridge between heaven and earth. It's the asteroid that carries the energy of Archangel Metatron. So they're both at the same degree, and the Sabian symbol for their degree is a hammock stretched between two trees. Okay? So we've also got, this is where you're planting a seed, but you're not maybe rushing things, okay? We're not like, we all just had the timelines. Remember, I described a couple of months ago how the timelines they showed me were all syncing up, coming together. And that was going on through April is what I said then. And now mid-May is what Archangel Michael is saying to me. So we're all in a period of adjustment, a period of transition. Okay. So this is a time to start the ball rolling, but maybe not to completely, sink your teeth in like this is what's happening, because we're still in a period of transition, and that isn't just us, that's the collective. We're all individually going through adjustments and, trying to figure out the new terrain of what's going on. Even me with my diet, it's things like that going on in individuals' lives, okay? And if you haven't had that experience, it's coming, because we've got this Saturn today, as I make this video on the 30th, begins to move retrograde. He's not really going to move. He's still at the same degree for a while, but you feel the energy of his movement, okay? Where we're going back over situations and circumstances. We're releasing, because he's traveling. He isn't just retrograde. He's traveling with the South Node. So, and Saturn can be resistance and obstacles, challenges, and always it's for our growth. It's never a punishment, okay? And there are things that we have to, that we choose to work through in our lifetimes, that we take on, maybe an experience that the entire soul family needs a healing for. It depends on, where you're at. But we all take on those challenges and circumstances and situations to teach us a lesson. Saturn is the wise, he's the elder, he's the teacher, he's the master, okay? The master builder. Once you master your Saturn, once you get your Saturn down and you're working your Saturn, you can build whatever it is that you choose to build in this lifetime. No holds barred is what Michael is saying. So right now, when he's moving backwards, we're releasing things, situations, and circumstances that are holding us back. And it's going to be, this is going on through September. We've got, Pluto, and I think it's like September 17th, I want to say, that Saturn finishes his retrograde. So it'll be interesting to see the kind of things that fall when, Saturn is institutions and authorities. And he is in the sign of Capricorn, but he's actually in the constellation of Sagittarius, which is, again, the church. There's a link to the church, again, with this Pluto, South Node, Saturn energy, a lot to do with the church. So I find that very interesting. But this new moon in Taurus, we're planting the seed, and we've got the hammock stretched between the two trees. What I'm seeing with that is the palm tree, that it's one of those palm trees that grows like this, and there's the hammock stretched between, where we take time to relax and reflect and to just take it easy and see how things go. We're all, as we went through this timeline switch or portal or however, gateway, however you want to say that, a transition is what he's saying. Transition. We had upgrades and expansions of consciousness, not just for us, again, but for humanity in general. And the plans that we may have thought, I remember Metatron said in February, or at least in the February video, he was talking about things might change, that we might change our mind during that Mercury retrograde. And that was when we were, finishing up a cycle and we're wrapping up a cycle and getting ready to move into this new cycle. So you may discover that people who, you plan to move forward with in whatever way, in relationship, in work situations, in maybe even a physical move, that those things have changed. And we're all just working through and maneuvering with the energies that we have now. Again, this will culminate in January of 2020. So we're just, we're learning how to be flexible and go through this transition. So I think it's beautiful at the time of this new moon. We have Jupiter right at the ascendant. The ascendant is in Sagittarius, in the sign of Sagittarius for the new moon. And it's opposing Mars, which is on the descendant in the sign of partnership. And then we've got Neptune right in between them, like where their energies come together in Pisces is Neptune. Okay, so we've got that square, and that speaks to the possibility of miracles. Remember, Mars is out of bounds, so it's kind of like we don't have any limitations. Then we can also overreact to situations. We can be extremely critical and judgmental with these energies because Jupiter is involved and he's retrograde. Make sure that you are not like anytime that comes to you, you can cancel the energy. Like I talk about, you can just say, I dissolve, ask the creator to dissolve that through the frequency of pure unconditional love and any judgment that you may have sent out to anyone. I woke up after I made I was asked to make the post about the church, Notre Dame, burning down, and I woke up the next day with a huge psychic hook in me, and I knew who it was from, too, the person that had made a judgment about about my post, and, just have to let that go. But be careful to clear that, not only from yourself, but from who you send it to, because those things will stick with you. When you send a judgment to someone else, it's in your energy, okay? It affects your frequency and your vibration. So I always ask to have those cleared out at the end of the night. In my classes, I did a meditation to cover that. I will upload not just the classes, but I'll upload a separate meditation on Vimeo, just to, clear your energy before you go to sleep at night. Make sure you get rid of all of the psychic attacks that are in your field. And they could be sent by you as well as, because we're usually, when we're judging other people, it's because always when we're judging other people, it's really something about us that we just aren't recognizing. And we're kind of like, oh, look at that person. And it's really us. So, okay. And then, the South Node and Pluto and Saturn. Now remember, that structure and that is potential, and that's all in the sign of Capricorn, institutions and stability. That is in a trine is a very nice energy because Capricorn is an earth. So the earth signs all trine one another. If you're ever trying to figure out aspects in the charts, all of the elements will trine one another. And so it's a very cooperative reaching out to this moon and sun. It gives it staying power, and it also says that something old has to be released, that something needs to be renewed, revised, revisited, reworked in order for this seed to come to fruition, whatever it is that you're wishing upon a star for. And then we've got, the possibility of miracles would be in the way that Neptune is speaking in a sextile with the moon and the sun, which is also, the dreams, hopes, wishes, Pisces, Neptune is in a 60-degree aspect with the sun and the moon. And that's where there's a choice being given, being offered, but there's some sort of offering being made in how you are coming to your dream. And part of that will be through the releasing of the old patterns of the establishment, within your own life and then within the collective as well. It's interesting that in the constellation, in the sign of Taurus, we've got Uranus, and then we have Sedna and Archangel Raphael on top of Algol, who is Medusa, the head of Medusa. Right between them at their midpoint is the moon and the sun. So that says to me, with as far as divine union, I see a tower while I'm talking about this. I see a tower. And then this can also be if you're not, looking to come into divine union, if you've already got that all taken care of, or it's just something that's not on your radar, not your focus. This is about how we treat ourselves and showing ourselves radical self-love is what Michael is saying. Showing ourselves radical self-love and really expressing that to yourself is what Michael is saying. Expressing joy, expressions of joy, like putting joy out, because whatever we're sending out is what comes back to us. That's the way, whatever our frequency, our vibration is, matches what we pull in. Okay, we find the match. It sort of like magnetizes. So you want to be putting out an energy of joy and looking forward to the future, and always reminding yourself that whenever change comes, something good comes of it. There's always a surprise, yes. And we can feel insecure in this energy because of the Pluto South Node Saturn. And I'm not going to keep saying it, but that's going on through 2020. January 2020 is when it culminates. So we can be feeling a lot of insecurity. And so it's really important to feed ourselves good intentions, good wishes, and also to the collective. Like I was saying, when there's someone that you feel like a judgment goes out of your from your head, like just a thought about someone, it isn't just canceling that energy, then it's saying something edifying about the person, something encouraging to yourself and to that person. So I did pull cards. I wanted to also read because Metatron had so it's happening, like I said, it's 14 degrees of Taurus. And typically when you look up a Sabian symbol, like say that your sun is at 9 degrees and some minutes, you would look at the Sabian symbol 10 is what is taught. But Metatron's always had me look at both. Okay. So if your sun is at 9 degrees and some minutes, look up the 9th degree and then also look up the 10th degree. So he pointed out the 14th degree to me. An old lady selling bunches of violets on a street corner. Caught inside a strange predicament, you no longer belong to worlds you always dreamed into before, and you have only a light connection with worlds calling you forward from here. Caught in a time warp, being neither this nor that. It is a stark and merciless dilemma. Your heart is divided between memories and visions, sentiment and knowledge. Inside this quandary, something else is going on. You are distracted from all solid allegiances in order to overhaul your way of being while remaining stubbornly adamant and resistant. You get around your own paranoid system by subtle and subliminal means, eroding the ego base and bringing yourself through a humiliating stage. Let's cancel that and just say that you learn humility in a graceful manner. You could just say yes if that's okay. Make yourself ready for deeper challenges ahead by stripping away your self-importance. You who have leaned back hard on self-importance for your very identity and who now must let go despite not wanting to at all. Ooh. So, wow. I don't know how they got that from an old lady selling bunches of violets on a street corner, but okay. I suppose that would be pretty humbling. I've been in many of those lifetimes. But yeah, so this is about really releasing the ego. And that was coming up too with that Jupiter retrograde. I was talking to them about, looking at the lower Jupiter, and the lower Jupiter, and it depends on where you have it, but pretty much everyone has this in some way. The lower Jupiter is where we're all puffed up with a lot of arrogance and self-importance, and so yeah, Jupiter is retrograde at this time too, and he's also in his own sign. And then Taurus 15 is what we're going to focus, what we're moving toward then. His best friend sings a song at his funeral. Love penetrates all barriers. It arises the greatest wherever it is most profoundly needed. It is perpetually astonishing in its fullness, its rich, sustaining power. Love is also held in a grieving and mourning for what was and is no longer. And sometimes love becomes enwrapped in a twilight mood and can no longer see through the sentiments and the attachments to touch the limitless source of love. Staying attuned to that place, love can be a rocky ride. It pulls in great lessons. It feels so much. And love is wedded. Let's see, I'm not going to say that. Love is a limitless doorway and discovers how to navigate all the realms it is called into fluently, willingly, and gladly, stripping away all the ideas about what it should look like and how everything needs to be to gratify and appease and make secure when love needs none of these things to endure. That's speaking a little bit, I think, to us being independent and not codependent in love relationships, and also realizing that source and the frequency of pure unconditional love is your security. It's part of it is who you are. Besides the DNA suit, you are your higher self. You are a spark of God incarnated in the human body. Okay. And you're allowed to feel a sense of security in that. And no one can shake that. Once you're secure in that, no one can move you any other way. So I did pull some cards, and I'm not going to take the time just because of time. But okay. So there's the card, and this is, you guys, I didn't bring the deck over with me. Miracle. It's the Activations Oracle. Oh, it's by Lon. Thank you. It's so, I can't. The frequency of miracles supports our belief in ourselves as a part of source, and therefore our belief that anything is possible. So pretty much the Sabian symbol that I just read. So that's the card that he gave me, and believing in the possibilities. Remember, all year, we're also working with the Jupiter-Neptune square. So that's limitless possibilities for expansion and opportunities for miracles. And I hope that all of you will join me on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. It's like the Irish or the Celtic meets I'm not sure if that was if Cinco de Mayo was something with the Spanish. Somebody will have to tell me in the comments if that was Spanish or if that was the indigenous peoples of Mexico. I don't know. So I'm not going to say. But anyway, so there'll be a lot of celebrating going on that day. Anyway, I hope that you're able to join me. All of the information is in the description box below. I am open for sessions beginning now. You may be able to find, if you're a first time client, then you'll be able to find time in May, I think. If not, everything is in July. For follow-ups too. And the follow-ups is when there's time for us to go and look at past lives. They're 30 minutes, but I can get in and out of past lives in 3 times in 30 minutes. We could do that. So I'm pretty quick with it. All of you and your higher selves are time masters as well. You're all masters. And so all I do is hold the energy for you. And even if you aren't able to see it physically, you will know and you'll be able to perceive exactly what's happening in the scene. People will tell me, like, I can't see, but then they'll describe what they're wearing. And it's a memory. It's really your own memory that you're conjuring, okay, that they're bringing forward. And Michael or Metatron will lead you into whatever timeline is appropriate to do the healing. So anyway, everybody, happy Beltane, happy new moon in Taurus. Remember to take time to smell the roses, to appreciate the pleasures in life, laying on a hammock between 2 trees, resting enough, because we're all still feeling pretty groggy. I know a lot of people have been talking to me about how tired they are. So anyway, everybody, much love to all of you. Take care. I'll talk to you probably in about 10 days again. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.